Jai Shri Krishna, Jai Shri Ram, Jai Shri Narasimha. So today I would like to show you the comparison of two different types of Vastu. We see ancient Vastu and we have this modern Vastu which is more easier to follow but doesn't follow the main concepts. So there are two different facets of Vastu. And the modern Vastu people are against the ancient ones, and the ancient is obviously not in all respects coordinating with the modern one. But the ancient Vastu has given rise to even modern Vastu, because ancient Vastu is the one which has given this. Feng Shui also has come from the ancient Indian sides of Vastu Shastra, because the basic 5 elements and in which place each element is present is there only in Vastu Shastra, and that's how it originated all over the world. Vastu Shastra, as an overview, I'm just going to tell you one word about it. It is the science which invigorates the good vibration in a particular house and makes every single person living in the house prosperous, happy, healthy, and having a long life. So this is basically Vastu Shastra, and Vastu Shastra is based on increasing positive vibrations and the feel-good factor in a house, and there will be no troubles and no fights in the house because everything is beautifully vibrating and it's in coordination with nature. So the way nature flows, like the way the river flows, the way the seasons change, the house also changes and lives a long life along with its inhabitants. So if the house lives a long life and never gets destroyed, and the same way, people who live in the house live a long life and a prosperous life also. So I'm going to show you two different types of Vastu and their pros and cons. I know modern Vastu also has a lot of benefits, and ancient Vastu cannot be followed in modern day, whereas modern Vastu can be easily followed because we are like looking forward to a new civilization. So I'm going to explain the pros and cons of each one of these types of Vastu. And of course, I don't advocate this so-called stylish, awkward and wrong Vastu. Triangular plots, just to make it very stylish, they do many things. They make plots triangular, and some people actually, just to defy Vastu, they do everything against Vastu and then they say nothing happens to me. The next day they have a problem. Big. So when you disagree or disobey the rules of Vastu, which everyone is required to follow, whether you believe it or not, Vastu will affect you. Some people think that Vastu will only affect you when you believe it. So I'm going to make a video on the 5 myths of Vastu busted. So that video also will be uploaded, and not 5, so 9 myths, because they are continuously increasing myths about Vastu, and people have a totally distorted view of our ancient sciences, especially Vastu and Jyotisha, because they are the most secret sciences, secret ancient sciences, along with Mantra Shastra, which is deeply associated with these two. So actually, people have a very distorted view of all of this. They think it's a superstition. But actually, we're going in accordance with nature, in coordination with nature, when we follow the rules, the natural rules of Vastu Shastra. We are considering the subtler forms of energy instead of considering the gross forms of energy. Well, what we see is what we believe in the modern era. The Vastu Shastra and astrology prove that belief wrong. What you see is not always the truth. It might be the truth, which is 99% of the case, but what you don't see is also present. Just because you're not able to perceive it with your eyes, so basically, the modern man, all of us, are not able to perceive these energies. Only when we learn to live with them, we are able to slowly believe it. We are able to slowly enhance it, and that's the science of Vastu. So Vastu basically means the science. So Vastu Shastra, in that Shastra means the science, and Vastu means Vasdhatu. It comes from the Vasdhatu, which means to live. So Vastu Shastra is all about to live in coordination and to live in accordance and harmony with nature. The different parts of nature, it is material nature and spiritual nature. Most of Vastu is spiritual and material together, but some people have different views. So Vastu caters to all these views of people. So some people would like to be more spiritual, and for them Vastu is quite a little bit different, a little lenient. Whereas some people who are material, Vastu is more tough on them and does really affect them a lot, and they have to consider Vastu. So for example, if there's a businessman who requires a lot of profit and a good family and everything should be smooth, then he requires a pretty good Vastu. Whereas a Muni, a yogi, also will be affected by Vastu Shastra in a way. Unless he is roaming everywhere, he will be affected in some way if he is in an ashram or something like that, because Vastu Shastra is not wealth and health and family, it affects on our health. That's very important to consider. And there was a scientist called Hartmann, a German scientist, who made the Hartmann grid, and he emphasized that certain points are very sensitive, which we'll also discuss about today, and that proves so the foreigner has actually proven that the house actually can decide your health. So the type of house we live in can sometimes decide our health. So these points are also going to be proven in this video, and we'll make a comparison between ancient Vastu and so-called modern energy Feng Shui based Vastu. It's kind of a mixed Vastu, which I should also explore. Square, rectangle and circle etc. plots are quite good according to Vastu Shastra. And here, Vastu and Bhavana. So basically in our ancient time, we had an understanding, a clear understanding of Vastu. Vastu is a plot, the premises, total premises that we buy, and Bhavana is the site where we want to construct a house, the exact house. So the area that is covered by the house, by the physical house, is termed as Bhavana, and the whole premises is termed as Vastu. This is a very important point, and there are Marma points in Vastu. So basically I would like to explain this in another video, but for just a brief explanation of this, I would suggest the esteemed viewer to read the Brihad Samhita, which also talks about the Marma points, and also Mayamatam and Manasara, which are two wonderful books on Vastu Shastra, ancient books. And these books are really good, and one can refer to them when we talk about Marma. So what is Marma is, it's a very sensitive point. We also have Marmas in our body, like for example one behind our ear, we have one in our forehead, the center point over here, somewhere near to the pineal gland, and we have another on our nose, here and there. We have Marma points almost everywhere in our body, so every single part of our body is connected to a Marma point, a very sensitive point. So just like in Ayurveda, so those who are very learned in Ayurveda can understand that the body has very secret points, and the ancient science, Tamil science of Varmam, also, Varmam has come from the word Marma. So this ancient science, Varmam, actually also deeply has a lot of knowledge on the subject of different points, and Lord Shiva imparted this science to Agastya. So we have seen a lot about Varmam and Marmam, which are somewhat synonymous in Tamil and Sanskrit. So that's for our human body, but we have to also realize that the same thing is for Vastu, the Vastu. So why we are giving Marma points for the Vastu also is that there's a very long story about this, but once there was a Rakshasa, there was a demon. There are many views of this. One was there's a very pious demon who was ruling all the three worlds, and then he was pushed down by the Devatas because they got scared that he would conquer their place. And when he was seeing all the citizens from the top of his building, they pushed him down. And when he fell down, he formed this type of a scrapping position like this. And from that time, they have been worshipping this figure because he sacrificed his life for the sake of the people. The Devatas did it to him. So all the Devatas sat on him, and that's why every single Devata is supposed to preside over the Vastu, the premises. There are many views of this, like for example in Agni Purana we have a different view. So there was a very huge being according to Brihad Samhita who fell on the earth, a very powerful and huge being. And once he fell on the earth, he turned into Vastu Purusha, and then all the deities came and sat on him. And in the Vastu, we have the energy of every single deity. So all the deities together comprise of this wonderful Vastu. And therefore, in that sleeping position, we have certain points. They're called Shanmahanti or just extreme Marmas or lower
And
Marmas.
Bhaiya, just one question. Before the Vastu Purusha came and fell on ground. Before that, was there any Vastu?
Yes, there was Vastu from the beginning, but this actually happened somewhere around the beginning of the creation, actually, after the beginning of the creation. But before that also there was Vastu did exist. So this is one very important thing. And secondly, Vastu and Bhavana, what I talked about, that's also a very important thing. And what we're talking about now, Marma points. Marma, different types of Marma points in the head. Some are in the chest, the center part of the chest, in the neck, and then we have different parts of the Vastu Purusha. I shall make another video on this and the significance of every single Marma point. So in these Marma points, we are not supposed to place heavy pillars, and nor should we collect trash in these corners. The northeast point, the foremost northeastern corner of the plot is a very powerful Marma spot, because the northeast is ruled by many deities, and all the deities come and sit in the northeast. Abhigya, don't do that. So all the deities come and sit in the northeast, and therefore northeast is considered the most powerful and the most pious of all the directions, and that should be given utmost care, and one shouldn't in any circumstance dirty or destroy or hinder the energies that come from the direction. And moreover, on the chest, the face, there are many points till the lower abdomen, and even below that we have many points. Even the private organs of the Vastu Purusha are also considered very, very sensitive points, and one shouldn't place any pillars or dirty these special points. They are present all over the body. There are 6 main points, and then we have some 9 extra points, and then we have many more points just like this. So all of these points shouldn't be dirty, and if one is able to not dirty any of these sensitive points and place his items on every other place, it's in perfect harmony. Along with that, the rest of the Vastu also should be perfect. So one more thing in ancient Vastu. Now I shall compare this with modern Vastu. So what I term as modern Vastu exactly is not our wish. It is also a kind of a developed form of Vastu that is again quite primitive. So that only considers certain parts of Vastu. That is, like the northeast is water and the southeast is fire, the northwest is air, and the southwest is destruction. The north is, of course, wealth, and the east is health, and this and that. So this is what modern Vastu mixed with Feng Shui looks like. And the southeast is fire, so you put all things related to fire over there. To an extent, this is quite correct. But this doesn't go in detail, and nor is this conducive to complete energy, because this doesn't consider Marma points. If a person really wants to live in a very wonderful, peaceful, and energetic environment, one has to consider ancient Vastu, that is Marma points, etc. Secondly, modern Vastu only considers very few deities, just the 8 cardinal directions and their Adhipatis. But ancient Vastu has lot more deities. There are more than 30 deities in ancient Vastu, and these 30 deities are presiding different parts of the Vastu Purusha Mandala. There are different types of Vastu Purusha Mandalas. They are in so they are multiples of 8, 16, and we have 32 and forward 24, 32, and like this it goes for 64, and then we have 81, which is also 8. We have 81, which is 9 into 9. So we have some of them which are 8 into 8 by 8, and some of them which are 9 by 9 squares. So the different types of mandalas, basically mandalas in Tantra means forces of energy, or places where energy is posted. So those places are called mandalas. So for example, the Sri Chakra, for our friends who know about Tantra, Sri Chakra is also based on a mandala. And the same way, Vastu Purusha Mandala is also a very important thing. It's an 81 square based mandala. They are again hexagonal shaped mandalas. So they are, it's not that you always need to have square or rectangle shaped house. You can have different shapes, except some certain shapes that are bad. So basically this modern Vastu does not consider Marma. And second thing, it does not consider the Devatas. So there are Devatas who preside over the Vastu Purusha, and I have talked about them also in my Vastu Purusha Mandala video. You can watch that video also, and in that I have explained about the Devatas and the position of the doors where one should enter or make entry in any one of the directions. So you can make entries in the south and the west also, nothing like that. But the Marga Prahara shouldn't be there. I think I should make another video on the Marga Prahara topic. That's also a very important topic. And the Devatas actually have different powers. We have Naga, we have Snatpa, and then we have other types of deities. We have Bhrindaraja. Some deities aren't even known about, and some deities are the synonyms of our known deities. And some deities are real known deities. And there is Lord Shiva, there is Lord Vishnu, and we have almost every single important deity in this. The Vedic deities especially are considered. Pushan is there, and the lords of the 27 nakshatras also seem to preside over this. So the 9 planets also are present in the different directions of a house. So basically a house is an embodiment of everything, and modern Vastu doesn't consider this deeper topic, which can be easily applied. It's not very difficult though. It can be easily applied, but we need a little more consideration. It's easy to do this because the only thing is we shouldn't place pillars and dirty those spots. So this basically makes a person's home more clean, and you're more alert, and you don't destroy the special influences of directions. It's quite difficult to explain the powers of certain points in a house. So you have certain points which are very sensitive and powerful. So if you keep them clean, you can enhance this powerful energy in your material and spiritual levels. So this is very scientific, and one can only prove it by an experiment. So you can try it with yourself at home, guard certain points that I've explained in my Vastu video, and you'll see the power of it, provided the other parts of Vastu are also good. So this can be actually done on an experimental basis. And one more thing was that the Devatas and the powers aren't considered, as we saw, and horoscopic significance is very important in ancient Vastu, though most of it is quite general, so everybody has one type of house. Though again, we come back to one point that horoscope is very important, because some people have a good time facing the south, some people have a good time facing the north, some people the east, some people the west. Some people, according to their Janma Rashis, nakshatras, and their overall chart, actually tend to progress in certain directions. So that's one very important thing, though we know that every single direction has powers, very positive powers. But they're different. Each direction wants to be treated in a different way. But we humans, modern humans, don't understand this, and we construct it the way we want, according to our imagination, and we get it. That's why the kind Lord gave us the science of Vastu Shastra, and we should use it wonderfully. People who build it against Vastu, whether they believe it or not, whether they think it affects them or not, whether they are, whether they feel they're too rich to fall, they're too big to fall, they're too famous to fall, they will fall. It's very important to see that Vastu is dangerous. Even if you're the healthiest person on the earth and you live in a bad Vastu house, you will become unhealthy. It is science. It is the science of magnetic points. And we can't even call it magnetic energy. Magnetic is more mundane. Nor can we call it electric energy. Electric is also mundane. This is divine energy, and we cannot accept it from our daily lives. We have to nurture this divine energy. And those who believe in God can understand this divine energy more wonderfully, but people who don't also can try and see it for themselves. So what we should do to Vastu is, because the ancient Vastu is actually fading away slowly, and we are getting into a new phase of Vastu. Though people are adhering to Vastu, they're not adhering to Vastu completely. They are not considering the overall site, they're just considering the Vastu of their house. Like Jadamula should have water, a puja room, the Ishanamula should have a puja room, and the southeast should have a kitchen, the northwest should have a bedroom, the southwest should have a bedroom. And yeah, those are simple rules. But we should also go deeper in, and we should make this science fashionable. And people shouldn't think of it as an old, low-class thing. All things are actually very, very pure, because the ancients had experienced all of this in full. They could see the future with their eyes. They could see the past with their eyes, and also they could feel the energy of the present with the same eyes, with the same body. So these are things that they inculcated in our scriptures, and that is what we are studying today, and that is what we have got in our wonderful heritage today, and we should preserve it. by making it common for people to go into deeper energy Vastu. So we are considering the energy of every single spot. That is energy Vastu. So we have to consider the energy of every single place. Here we don't talk about magnetical energy. The north and south pole is magnetical head position. Some things are extremely scientific, whereas some things cannot be proved completely by mundane science. That's divine science, but it is science. It is science because Vijnana in Sanskrit means Vishesha Jnana. So something that's very special. So it always not, it might not be pleasing to the eyes or very pleasing to hear and easy to believe. It would be difficult to believe, but it's the truth. And that's what Vastu is. We have to do something about this science and make. We have to combine ancient and modern Vastu. For example, the different Marma points in ancient Vastu should be combined with modern Vastu so that we don't disrupt the modern, behavior. They want a stylish house or something like that. We shouldn't be disturbing that, but we should be making a house which is really pure from that point and is actually good. Just a second. Abhigya, can you come and see the camera? So we should be making a house which is good in terms of Vastu also. And we have to join hands with ancient and modern Vastu and bring together new spheres of Vastu which will adhere to the ancient rules. And I hope this video was informative. Thank you. Jai Shri Krishna. And also here I wanted to show you, this is an example of modern Vastu. It will look very good, but it doesn't adhere to all the rules. We have to make it adhere to all the rules so that it's quite good. And whenever it's a very special thing, then we should be doing it perfectly. Abhigya, come to the camera. Where are you going? So one more thing I wanted to tell was about modern Vastu. It is not the best. We have to combine it with ancient Vastu and bring those rules that we've forgotten back into picture. So hope this video was informative. Thank you. Jai Shri Ram. So one thing I forgot to say was about the Brahmasthana. So again, in modern Vastu we don't consider the Brahmasthana, and it's quite a very difficult task to maintain a Brahmasthana. But still, one should try to bring the energy of the universal energy into the center point of our house, which is a very sensitive point, and keep the center point very clean always. The center point should be kept very clean and should be always irradiated by energy. So if you don't want a totally open Brahmasthana, you should at least have a meshed Brahmasthana, something like that. Something that's hygienic completely, even though the ancient Brahmasthana is more hygienic than the modern method of just closing everything around, keeping open space all around. If you keep open space all around, you are subject to the different types of energies of different directions, like the north, the south, the west and the east would start giving their inflow of too much energy on those open spaces. The center point is positive energy, so when you open up the center point, you collect positive energy, and that is a very good thing, and that is what we're supposed to do. But we have to do something about the Brahmasthana also, and though it is not possible, we should at least consider the Marma points. If it's not possible to make a Brahmasthana, Marma points and the Devatas should be considered completely, because that's the basis of Vastu Shastra. It's not only Jala Mula, Agni Mula, Vayu Mula, etc. The Devatas should be considered, and we are forgetting that and considering this part of Vastu as Vastu Shastra. So thank you. Jai Shri Krishna. Jai Shri